Hello and welcome to the Draft Viewer. I'm Randy Buehler, joined by Reid Duke. Welcome.
Hey, Randy.
You sat down this morning at a crazy draft pod. I just want to start there. Before we get into the picks, before you open any packs, what does it feel like to sit down? Owen Turtenwald's on your right, one of your best friends, Luis Scott Vargas on your left, and the table is just full of superstars.
Yeah, we had Yuya Watanabe, Owen Turtenwald, the two best players of the modern era, Hall of Fame elect. Luis Scott Vargas, my Magic hero for the last 8-10 years. And there were, absolute world-class players of that draft pod who were in the bottom half of possible competition I could face. Yes, intimidating.
Now, does that affect the way that you draft? Or, having Owen on your right or having that kind of a table?
Yeah, with the set being so new, at an average draft or even a day one Pro Tour draft, you should expect people to have very different valuations of the cards. So what one person might consider a signal might not really mean what you think it means.
Right.
At such a high-level draft pod, it's a little bit more clear. I
think the signals really are signals.
Yeah, a bit more.
Well, you seem to have read them pretty well so far. Skipping ahead a little bit, you're 2-0 at this point.
Yeah.
Owen Turtenwald is also 2-0. You are second place in the tournament all by yourself at 9-1. There are no other 9-1s in the field.
Having lost only to Owen.
And you're about to be paired with him again,
yes.
right? You two are fated to play for Pod 1 in the next round. I'm going to guess that'll be in the feature match area. I'll try not to hold him too long so we can get that to you guys. All right, let's talk about the draft. You sit down, you open this pack. What are you thinking?
Well, this is a very, what I thought was a close, interesting pick. Impetuous Devils, Drag Under, and Somberwald Stage, and to a lesser extent, Thermo Alchemist and Olivia's Dragoons.
Okay.
All really good cards, not super bombs, but I could see taking the Stag, the Drag Under, or the Devils. I decided on the Stag.
Is that a color preference pick then, or do you think it's a better card?
I think it's a slightly stronger card.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's look at pack 2. Owen passes you this one, and what do you see?
Again, lots of cards, comparable power level, Haunted Dead, Brazen Wolves, Kessig Prowler, even Dawn Griff. Those are all good, solid bread and butter cards. I decided to stay on color with the Kessig Prowler.
Makes sense. Kessig Prowler, now you're 2 green picks. We go to pack 3.
Pretty weak pack. I, again, was going to stay on color with either Grapple with the Past or Backwoods Survivalist.
Okay.
Having the Kessig Wolf as an aggressive, werewolf-style creature, I decided to just go with the beatdown Backwoods Survivalist here.
Makes sense. Pick 4.
Ulvenwald Captive, Slam Dunk, just, in my opinion, the best green common.
I was about to say, that just is the best green common, right? That's got to be a great sign to see it fourth, too. Green looking open, makes sense.
So here's where things dry up a little bit for me. Insatiable Gorgers, I think, is the strongest card in this pack, and having Kessig Prowler makes me gravitate a little more towards red-green werewolf, so I took that.
But you're not super excited about it?
No.
Makes sense.
Okay, so here I wanted to take a on-color card. Terrarion could go well with Briarhorn, Woodland Patrol, medium creature. I took Cryptolith Fragment. I think it's at its best in a werewolf deck because you can both attack their life total and use the mana, play a 5-drop ahead of schedule.
Got it. All right, let's look at pick 7. Let's just show the pick.
So Certain Death here.
It's a little bit late for Certain Death.
It is late for Certain Death, and this was an important pick, not because this goes great with what I had or because it's a super strong card or anything, but I think it's a signal that the players near me aren't interested in black.
Makes sense.
Which is going to come up later in the draft.
Sure. Pick 8, you took?
I took Waxing Moon, a speculative pick, but maybe if I get enough werewolves, that card can be really powerful.
Right, I think I threw one more pack in here. This is your first pack coming back around.
And I took Bloodbriar here.
Because in your head, you're green and then what, maybe black, maybe red?
Yeah, green and I don't know what else. So.
Okay, we can look at all of pack 1. I don't think anything else came back.
No, 2 Lupine Prototypes. I don't like that card very much, but interesting to get 2 early in the draft.
So pack 2 is from what I understand, the real fork in the road.
Yeah,
Talk me through this pick.
I looked at this pack, and I was like, oh, God, like this pick here is going to determine the direction my Pro Tour goes. We have Savage Alliance,
no pressure.
Subjugator Angel, and Distended Mindbender, all outrageously powerful cards in possible second colors for me. And what do I pick? And this is where seeing that late Certain Death came into play. I didn't see a ton of red in pack 1, even though I wanted to go red-green werewolves.
Right.
I just decided that I was a little more likely to see black cards in pack 3. Right. Black's pretty strong in pack 3, so I went with the Distended Mindbender.
So Mindbender over Alliance, and now you're thinking, all right, I'm green-black, I'm not green-red.
Yes.
Makes sense. Let's see how it works out. Oh, how about you get past murder after committing to black?
Murder
is that good?
with no relevant red cards. So immediately I'm like, yes, I made the decision, not necessarily the right decision, but the one that has so far worked out better.
Fair enough. Murder seems great.
Here I took Gnarlwood Dryad, solid defensive creature, good with Prey Upon, Rabid Bite, if I can get those.
Makes sense. Keep going.
And just rounded out with some black and green cards. I think I took Rise from the Grave here.
Sounds right. Keep going.
Pretty bad pack. I took Subjugator Angel, so I wouldn't have to play against it.
Fair enough.
Thraben Foul Bloods here.
Sure. Solid 3-drop.
At this point, I think the ship had sailed on Waxing Moon, so I decided to take Swift Spinner. Because, you know, sometimes if you're all ground creatures against a blue-white flyers deck, that's a great sideboard card.
Okay. And then the black kept coming. I see Borrowed Malevolence came around late, Gathering Unhallowed came around late, Cemetery Recruitment.
Yeah, so actually not much green in this pack, but the 2 first pick black cards are just premium cards, and those are going to make my deck.
It feels like there might have been some green on your left, maybe. All right, let's look at pack 3.
So two great black rares.
2 great black rares.
Perfect, you know.
The double face card and the regular
Very
rare.
fortunate with the way my draft had already been
Murderous
going.
Compulsion too.
So yeah, I went with Elusive Tormentor here. I think it's a bit better than Markov Dread Knight.
Okay. And then pack 2, hilariously,
boom,
there's
a
another
second copy of
Tormentor.
Elusive Tormentor.
Now,
So
that's just a lot better than Pack Guardian?
it's better, I think, yeah. Both cards great, but this is just the dream, you know, to have this at a high-pressure Pro Tour draft, get 2 great rares.
How about
and a
3?
And a third great rare
Not
that happens
quite
to
as
go very well with the first 2. You know, you could discard and actually get the madness.
That
Tempting,
works.
I may have taken Arlen Court if not for the great black card
Oh, I was going to ask you about that.
in the pack and thought about splashing it, but you know, given that there's a great on-color card, I'm just going to take that.
So you might have even splashed Arlen Court if there hadn't been a mono black card.
I would have considered it, yeah. So this was an interesting pick. Briar Bridge Patrol is certainly the most powerful card, but I have a lot of 4-drops already. I had just taken 2 premium 4-drops, and I felt like I needed to fill in my mana curve, be a little more defensive. So I took Graph Mole just as a cheaper defensive creature. Not too sure about that pick, but
makes sense.
mana curve. Lambholt Pacifist, perfect. Just great defensive or aggressive 2-drop.
Makes sense.
And I went with Foul Orchard. I always like to have a dual land in my deck. I had a lot of double black, so the mana fixing has been very good.
Awesome.
And wow, a really late Diagraph Colossus. I don't have a ton of zombies,
you didn't have enough black rares in your deck,
this
right?
is a really good card. You only have to have a couple other zombies to make it great, so I took that.
All right, well, here's the rest of pack 3.
Yeah, I picked
the
up
green did keep coming.
A Rabid Rat to go with the
Sure, Rats is
Diagraph
nice. Gloom Widow's
Colossus.
got to be pretty nice that late.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Stuck to mono green for a while. That was the color that was open. Had to debate. Seemed to have guessed right.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the right pick. Maybe I think that Certain Death actually was a sign, though, that the players on your right may not have wanted the black. So there you go. Reid Duke's draft. He's 2-0. He's about to play for Pod 1 against Owen Turtenwald. I'm going to send it back to Rich, and I'm going to send Reid to the feature match area.